Writing a good blog post that intrigues your readers not only to click but to read all the way through is tricky, but it's not impossible. And in today's video, we are going to go step by step through the exact process that I use every single time to write a blog post. Hey, my name is Sarah from Business Women Thrive, and today we are talking about the basics of writing a blog post. Starting with finding the right topic for your audience, finding the best click-worthy headline, all the way through to typing it into WordPress. Let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is brainstorm ideas. I have all of my ideas written out in a digital content calendar. I took some time at the end of last year to write out ideas for every single Monday this year, which is the day that I sent a blog post out. Now, if you don't have a content calendar and you have no idea what you're going to write about, don't worry. Let's go over some ways that I find my blog post ideas. Tip number one, when coming up with blog post ideas, is find something that your audience actually wants to read. Because it doesn't matter how good of a blog post you think you can write, if nobody's actually interested in that topic, it doesn't matter how good it is because nobody's actually going to want to read it. And so here's a few ways that you can find what your audience is looking for. One way is to look into your Google Analytics. Look into your Google Analytics and see what is actually popular on your site. I like to look at my top 5 to 10 posts and see what is actually popular because readers are already telling you what they want to read more about on your site based off of what is in your Google Analytics. They are going to your site to read things, and if you notice a blog post coming up again and again and again in the top 10, even in the top 5, you know you should either write a part 2 for that blog post or just write more in that topic because that topic is doing really well for you. But maybe you're thinking you don't even have enough traffic on your site yet to decide what is popular. There's still a method for you too. The second tip to finding blog posts that your audience is interested in is use Pinterest. This works whether you have viewers on your blog or not. If you do have enough views and clicks on your pins though, you can do a similar method to the Google Analytics. Check your top 5 to 10 pins and write more on those topics because those are doing well for you. But even if you're not getting a lot of Pinterest or blog traffic, you can still use Pinterest to find popular topics. You can do a bit of keyword research to find out what is popular. If you have a general idea of what you want to start your blog post about, start typing some general words into the Pinterest search bar. Let's say you're looking up healthy recipes. If you type in healthy recipes into the search bar, some searches that will come up are dinner, easy, breakfast, vegetarian, and for picky eaters. So if you are a food blogger and you want to write about some healthy dinners, you know that that topic is popular because it is popping up underneath the Pinterest search bar. And you can use that to your advantage by using those keywords and target your blog post to that topic. This is called keyword research, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later, but this is just one of the ways that you can get some ideas for how you're going to steer your blog post. So step number 2 is to write your headline. And I know it may seem a little bit early to write a headline or your blog post title because you haven't even written the post yet, but it's actually important to write your title first. This is really going to help you narrow down what your blog post is about because you just don't want to sit down and start writing randomly because your blog post might not end up how you expected it to. If you are just writing your thoughts down, it might end up in a completely different direction, or you might have completely missed the point that you were trying to make and it will be completely unhelpful to your readers. So you want to have the topic that you are going to write about crystal clear before you even start writing, and the best way to do that is to find your headline first. And not only that, but having a good title is important because it is the first thing that your readers are going to see. Your title is what is going to make them decide if they want to click or not. So if you have a fantastic blog post, but you have a less than exciting title, no one is even going to read your amazing content. So here's what I do to come up with the best title I can. The first tip is to use Headline Analyzer. Headline Analyzer is a free website that you can go and type titles into for your blog post or your social media headlines or really anything that you're trying to write a headline for, and it will give you a score on that headline to tell you how good or bad it is. And it will give you tips on how to change the words so it can be a little bit better. I do my best to come up with 1 to 3 headlines for every blog post, and then I type them all into the Headline Analyzer and see what comes up. And from there, I might even tweak it and write 3 to 5 headlines based off of that and then choose the best one. Tip number 2 is to use power words. Make sure you are using powerful headlines and clickable words because, as I mentioned, if your headline does not grab somebody's attention and make them intrigued to click, it doesn't matter how good your blog post is on the other side because they will never actually get to read it. And if you're struggling to come up with powerful words or amazing headlines, what I just did was Google powerful words to use in blog post titles. And there are people out there that have lists of words that you can choose from and even sample headlines that you can use to make sure that you are getting a very clickable headline for your blog post. what I did was go through a bunch of these and write down a bunch of words that I can use in a Google Doc, and then when I'm trying to write my headline, if I'm stuck on what I want to do, I just refer to that document and take one of the words out of that and put it into my blog post title. Before I move on to the next point though, if you're getting value out of this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel down below for more videos just like this. Step number 3 in writing your blog post is going to be keyword research. Now this is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, but now we're going to go a little bit deeper into this because this is the most important part of writing the blog post. This is where you are going to get all of the points for your blog post, and you're going to keyword research to hopefully be able to rank on Google. You always want to have SEO and keywords in mind when you are writing blog posts, because one of the best ways to get traffic to your blog for free without really having to do much after the upfront work is done is ranking on Google. But this is something that most bloggers struggle with the most. So here's how I do some basic keyword research for my blog posts. I use a tool called Google Keyword Planner. It is a free tool that when you type words into it, it gives you the average monthly Google searches for that search term. This is helpful because, as I mentioned before, you don't want to write about a topic that nobody is searching for. So knowing the volume of the keyword that you are trying to rank for is helpful. So in this step, we are going to make sure what we want to write about is actually worth it or not. And if you need a little bit more help with this tool for setup, or you just want a better look at it, I did a full video tutorial on it, which I will link right here or down below in the description if you want to check it out. But let's go over briefly what you can do with this tool. So once you make an account for Google Keyword Planner, this is going to be the screen that you're going to see. And we are going to click on Discover New Keywords. Now here's where you can type in a few keywords that you are looking to hit with your blog post. So let's say we are looking for healthy recipes. Type that in and type in Get Results. So there is a lot on this screen, so let's go over exactly what you need, because there isn't really, this can look confusing, but it's really not that hard to figure out what you need. So right here is the keyword that you provided, and you can type in more, but we only have the one for now. And down here is the other keyword ideas that Google is giving you. In this column, you can see the average monthly searches that people are searching healthy recipes, and you can see that the competition is low. So that means that either not a lot of people are trying to rank for this term, or not a lot of bigger sites that would be harder to rank over are trying to rank for this term. So this is technically a good keyword based off of the average monthly searches and the competition, but I don't really think the keyword is specific enough. You want to get more specific with your keywords, because you want to hit long tail keywords and get more specific with them. So healthy recipes is okay based off of if we just look at the average monthly searches, but because it could really mean anything when you type in healthy recipes, we want to get more specific than that. Up here is where you can type in more keywords if you have decided you want more. You can also broaden your search up here. So let's say you like yummy recipes as a keyword. When you click that, it shows up here, and you can type in, you can click on Get Results. And then now it shows up here for another keyword that you provided, and you can see the average monthly searches pop up here. A few other things that you want to look at here is if you are not in the United States, you can click on this and change where in the world Google is looking for these results. If you're not writing in English, you can see that, and you can also decide to do Google or Google and Search Partners. Really all you need is Google, but you can change it if you'd like. And then here is where you can change the amount of time that Google is giving you these answers. So right now it is set to the last 12 months. You can either set it to the last month or any of these, or you can change it yourself by clicking on any of these here. So you want to play around with this tool a little bit, get some keywords, try to go for long tail keywords, which is 3 to 4 keywords. There is a lot more that goes into keyword research and a lot more that goes into this tool. So if you need any more help, make sure to check out the video that I will link right here or down below in the description. Once you have the keyword research part of your blog post done, you still want to do a little bit more research. What I like to do is type in my headline into Google and see what blog posts pop up. And then I like to skim through them and see what points that they are hitting. Because if you want to rank on Google above your competitors, you have to do something that is better than your competitors. So it's a good idea to see what they're doing and not copy what they are doing, but decide how you can make it better. Adding more points, going into a different direction, being more specific, having a more engaging blog post, anything like that. So once you are done with all of your research, it is time to move on to the next point. And step number 4 is it's time to outline your blog post. Now outlining your blog post is super important because this is going to give you the structure and the main points for your blog post. This is really going to combine all of the research that you have and make it into a cohesive blog post that people are actually going to want to read. Step 1 to writing your outline is decide what your main headings are going to be. This is going to be the main points in your blog post. So what is the main things that you want to cover and the main topics that you want to hit? These points are going to be your H2 heading tags. And don't worry if you don't know what that means, we're going to be going over it a little bit later on. Once you've got the main point down, step 2 is to add smaller points under the main points. So this is going to be what the paragraphs are going to be and really where your information is going to come in. You can just use bullet points for now if you want and just type in kind of like the main stuff that you want to hit. These might also get broken up into your H3 heading tags. Once you have finished with your outline, it is time for step 5, which is to write the blog post. Once you have all of your points and all of your information down and you have your headings and things like that, now it is time to just flesh out the blog post. Don't worry if it's not perfect at first, you're probably going to read over this at least a few times before you actually hit publish. So do your best to just write your blog post using all of the main points that you have researched and outlined. And a tip when writing your blog post is I don't write mine directly into the WordPress editor, I write mine in Google Docs. This is because that way I have a backup copy if something were to happen to my website or if it weren't to save properly, because a lot of times in the WordPress editor it doesn't save as frequently as Google, so it is not as reliable. And trust me, it does happen. So I recommend writing your blog post into Google Docs. And then once you are done, you can copy and paste that into your WordPress editor. And step 6 is going to be formatting into the WordPress editor. So this is now the step where I will copy and paste my blog post and I'm going to do the final readovers for it and I'm going to put in all of my headings and things like that. So this is a blog post that I already have finished, but it is going to be a good example. So as you can see here, I have the headings to my blog post, I have images in here, and everything is broken up nicely. These are the main points to my blog post, and then I turned them into H2 heading tags. So all you have to do is highlight something, and then you can go here and change it to a heading. This is so that you can break up your blog post and make it easily skimmable, because if you have a bunch of big paragraphs, you don't have images, and you just have giant walls of text with nothing to break it up, people are not going to stay on your blog very long because nobody wants to read a giant wall of text. So make sure you have your H2 tags. You can make any other smaller points in H3 or even H4 heading tags, and you also want to make sure you have bullet points as well. This is just for easy skimmability. The max that you want to have for paragraphs is you want to have 3 to 5 sentences max. As you can see in my blog post, sometimes I have a single sentence as my paragraph. This is again just for easy skimmability and it fits the flow of the blog post a little bit better. The last step is going to be finishing of your blog post. So this is where I will add in all of the images, I will add in any links, and I also do all of the things on the side here. So there's a lot on the side here. I make sure my Yoast SEO is good. This isn't the only thing that will go into doing SEO, but it is helpful to make sure that that is okay. I will change my slug and make sure that my slug has my keywords in it and isn't too long, and then you can get a view of how long your slug is going to be here. You can add in the categories, make sure you have your primary category selected, add in tags and featured images, and you can write an excerpt. Make sure before you hit publish that you look over your blog post one last time. I like to look it over in the desktop view because what you see in the back end is going to be significantly different from what people are going to see on the front end. So if we go back into my blog post here, I'm going to go to preview, click on desktop, which usually that's already selected, and then preview in a new tab. And this is going to show you what your blog post is going to look like on the front end of your site. It is not going to publish it for you, but it is just going to give you a good idea of what people are actually seeing when they are looking at your blog post. And this is the most important view because this is what people are actually going to see. Nobody is going to see it from your view. You need to make sure you are looking at it from their view. Then all that is left once you have finished all of your blog post is to hit publish. So you can either have the visibility as public, and then if you click here, you can publish it at a later date and schedule it. Obviously this is already scheduled, so I'm not going to be doing that, but that is the last step really, is publishing your blog post. As you can see, writing a blog post is not easy. There is a lot of work that goes into it, and this is honestly just a brief overview of how long it takes because there's a lot more that you really need to do. So now my question is for you. What is your biggest struggle when it comes to writing blog posts? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful and subscribe to my channel down below for more videos just like this. And I will see you next week. Bye!